As a society, we are increasingly more conscious of our environmental impact. Individually, people are seeking out steps they can take to bring humanity closer to a fully sustainable future. However, we still have a ways to go. Sustainability has become a new business buzzword. At the moment, for companies to pursue sustainability and circular design, they have to be willing to shrink their margins with no immediate returns. If they do, it is usually done to broadcast social responsibility due to new expectations surrounding a brand's environmental impact. We took a step back and decided to take a grassroots approach. Educated consumers are key in forcing companies to adopt sustainable practices and shift social consciousness towards being more mindful for the environment. We designed Renascent, an education and interactive multimedia platform designed to bring people closer to each other and the environment while still never leaving their home. Indoor plants are becoming increasingly abundant. There are a plethora of articles debating the motivations behind the craze. Whether it be a millennial replacement for kids, an oasis in urban environments, or a kind of self-care. New businesses are shipping houseplants across the country, and rare plants are being sold for as much as 4 figures, indicating a market and a want for people to be surrounded by greenery. It's impossible to not feel connected to nature when it's right there in your living room. We aim to harness this movement and create new communities while bridging existing ones. As a solution, we created our interactive multimedia platform named Renascent.
The My Plant screen is intended to be a place where users can input their own houseplants, name them, and personalize their own plant library. Renascent will show the proper information to take care of your specific plants, as well as send reminders so you are successful in keeping your plant healthy. This is also where you can view your soil testing lab results for your plants and assess what your next steps are based on your results. A barrier to entry for potential plant moms and dads is the fear of not knowing what to do if your plants start to have problems. We want to challenge the idea that people are born with a green thumb. Currently, available services only provide broad tips on an effective tool for users, requiring them to do extensive additional research. We wanted to take it a step further and focus on the soil microbiome, educating people on how microbial systems contribute to plant health. The microbiome refers to the bacteria, fungi, protists, and other living organisms coexisting within an environment.
The education section of Renascent allows the user to browse through scientific articles catered specifically to their interests and goals, rather than digging through the internet. When reading an article, the user can click on a scientific term and show its definition, giving all levels of users access to scientific literacy. Renascent will then give recommendations based on your recently read and favorited articles.
We've seen an increase in the number of people who own houseplants in the last year, and we wanted to discuss the value of community within our app. We want to encourage users to form connections with others on our platform so that they can learn from each other. Renascent's shop feature for small businesses and enthusiasts would sell plants and plant clippings on a local level within your community, allowing for relations to be formed between the user and seller.
Renascent's social media aspect of the application aims to do the same, but without purchasing a plant or clipping. Users are able to ask specific questions to the public or their local groups. Instead of exchanging plants, users exchange knowledge to answer questions posted using the comment threads. Within your profile on the application, you can input your sustainability goals, find your saved articles, plants, and posts, as well as follow your habit tracker, which helps you learn more about being sustainable and being more scientifically literate. You will also have groups which you have joined displayed here. Within these groups, you have an opportunity to learn more specifically about any subject you please and find people within the same interests as you. This can be globally or locally. Renascent's personalized learning aspect offers tailored exercises to help users learn about science and sustainability. Renascent will expose users to varied scientific content. Taking into account users' learning goals, the application will provide new daily articles about the environment or health, or just tidbits on how to live more sustainably.
We researched existing options that affect soil microbial systems to understand how they could be augmented. Ordering an inoculant that the average consumer would have access to, the inoculant packaging indicated a single microbe, Lactobacillus casei, but why it would help plant health was not explained. Partnering with a biotech club at our college, we went into the lab to better understand how this particular market option functions. The microbe mix was used to inoculate lysogeny broth and then plated on agar. Microbes were isolated and replated to facilitate colony growth. The experiment was repeated several times. We were then able to identify them via morphology and gram stain, The study was originally designed to assess how microbes may be added to compost to encourage digestion. We are fortunate in that the same biological mechanisms occur in compost and normal soil.
Part of Renascent is our direct-to-consumer soil testing model. Users receive test kits and send their samples back to a lab. Renascent will analyze the soil and reach out to users, consulting them on next steps to improve their soil health and agricultural productivity. Our soil testing kit comes with a scoop and test tube for collecting your soil sample, a sealable specimen bag, a prepaid return label, and a reusable canvas bag with your first test. Our packaging is made from recyclable, corrugated paperboard and uses soy-based inks that are less volatile to the air. In keeping with circular design, our informational postcard is made with plantable seed paper made from recycled paper pulp mixed with seeds that you could plant once you've shipped your soil test back to us.
All right, hi. So now that you have an understanding of the product we've created, we want to tell you a little bit about our process, goals, and who we are. I'll start. My name's Tyne.
I'm Claire.
And I'm Lesley.
I'm Richard, and we're Team Renascent.
So initially, we wanted to tackle the food waste issue and create a home compost solution that facilitates thought about our environmental impact in conjunction to food waste in our homes. We decided that we didn't want to approach sustainability by further contributing to landfills. We didn't want to make another plastic composter that would end up in the landfills. Instead, we pivoted and shifted our focus to an interactive multimedia platform, which we named Renascent.
Although we changed our end product, this didn't alter our scientific research. Instead of a user having to purchase a composter to create their own nutrient-rich and microbially active soil, we instead wanted to improve the health of their existing houseplants or garden via sustainable practices.
Renascent will be a cultural shift we need, taking the essential step forward in saving our planet by bringing together community and broadening the reach of scientific education. We imagined a way people could have access to actual scientific evidence that supports what's happening with their houseplants, to answer questions like, why are your plants' leaves browning, or why is there white mold in my soil?
So if we had had more time, we would have liked to test our own soil in our houseplants to learn more about our own personal soil microbiome. And I would have personally really benefited from this because I'm struggling with a plant that I just received from my mom for Easter. And a florist had dropped that off at my house without a name tag for that. So I have no idea what the plant's name is. I tried searching online to find what it is, and I just can't find it. And after I had watered this plant once, it started to become slimy and parts of it start to die. So I became really frustrated because I couldn't find any information about it online or figure out what the name was. And I started to wonder if I had done anything personally wrong or if my environmental factors in my home were having anything to do with the way the plant was dying, basically. So I really feel like Renascent could have given me access to the information that I needed to care for my plant in the proper way.
I'm actually experiencing a really similar issue to Tyne's, where my plant's rotting from the stem up, the root up, and I just don't know what to do. So I wonder, since we're roommates, Tyne, if it has anything to do with environmental factors within our house, or maybe it's just the water.
So being able to tackle and understand issues like Claire and Tyne's is ultimately what our goal is with Renascent. We want users to gain scientific literacy and understand how environmental issues may impact other areas of their life, extending past houseplants. For example, if it's discovered that your local groundwater is being polluted, being more scientifically literate would educate communities on how this affects local fauna, but also how it would directly affect their own health. Education empowers people to self-advocate against policies that may negatively affect them, and we want to make sure that this application is accessible to everyone.
We understand that soil testing, similar to how historically genetic studies were conducted, have the potential to bias the socio-economic and economically privileged. We hope the data we collect is utilized to uncover environmental issues that unjustly impact the underprivileged. Through our research, we've learned that more about how diversity is important to these microbial systems, how distinct species of bacteria, fungi, and protists coexist in a fragile balance. Differing microbial compositions allow for different product outcomes. This is analogous to our world at the macro level. Together, we have to decide how we want our future to look like. By collecting data on local terroir, we hope to better understand how microscopic environmental factors influence the way we interact with the world.
Science of our project was based on a microbiology standpoint. As designers, we looked at the big picture and utilized these complex ideas to address the gap in knowledge between distinct communities. Scientific illiteracy in biological science
is the result of a bigger systematic issue within our society. We hope to diversify knowledge of the socio-environmental issues present within the states and even outside of our home country.
We want to end by recognizing some organizations who are working towards reimagining the institutions that harm their communities and enabling them to take charge of their future. They are Indigenous Environmental Network, Science Literacy Foundation, the Dream Corps, Green for All. Together and individually, we can make an effort to be a more sustainable society, and we hope to enable that opportunity with our users through Renascent. Thank you for your time and for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.